What's
What up,
going on,
man?
Matt? How we doing?
Good, man. Living the dream. You?
Good, good, good. I'm having a little trouble hearing you a little bit. It's like 100 degree. I mean, you have 100-degree weather every day in Las Vegas, but it's like 100 degrees here today in New York. So we got the AC on, and I haven't got my old studio ready to go yet. But maybe that's why I'm having trouble hearing you.
Are you able to hear me now a little bit better?
Wait a minute. That's like really low.
Is it on my end?
It could just be my speakers because my speakers are all the way up. Should I put headphones on? Let me see if this works. Because I want to be able to hear you. Okay.
Yeah.
I got them right here. Sorry to keep you waiting. Hold on.
Cool. Is that a little bit better?
Mic, speaker.
How are we doing now?
All right, I'll figure this out. Hold on. Okay, can you hear?
I can hear you. Kind of. I feel like we always got trouble on this app.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
I hear you now. I hear you good now.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just running a hotspot off my phone now. I was on my Wi-Fi and I said, forget it, dude. Let's just do the hotspot and see what happens.
Wait, what happened? I don't think it's your Wi-Fi. I think your Wi-Fi's fine.
Wait, are we
It's all
good now,
good?
though? I don't know.
Yeah. Wait.
I mean,
Now you're going in and out. Wait. Can you try switch it back to your Wi-Fi? Because now I hear you on the audio. It's my air conditioning in the background is too loud. But yeah, try switching back to your Wi-Fi. Sorry to be so difficult.
all right. How are we now?
Good. We're cooking now.
We're cooking?
What's your Wi-Fi? What do you got?
Dude, I really don't think we're cooking. Let me get on my phone and we'll just do it that way, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, 1 second.
Got a lot going on the Wi-Fi, I guess.
Dude, I don't know. Do you want me to get off on the
Yeah, it's cutting in and out.
Let me get off. Yes.
Yeah. That's a lot better.
All right, we good now?
Yep. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, man. Hear you real good now. I don't know what was going on. I think I don't know. I need to get better Wi-Fi, I guess.
Yeah, I don't remember you having bad Wi-Fi last time. Is this
Because I was always
you're
doing it
not in
on
your
my phone.
apartment?
No, I am. But I was always on my phone when I was doing it. And when I was on my phone, never really had issues. But I don't know, for whatever it is, something is off my Wi-Fi. But dude, congrats. You're done. It's time to start working now.
Thanks, man. Thank you. Yeah, it's time to hit the real world. Time to start working. It's good.
Yeah. So you're vacationing
Yeah,
for
man.
a bit. When do you leave?
It just came in and out. What was that? What'd you say? I'm sorry.
Dude, I'm starting to feel like it's your internet.
You think it's my Wi-Fi? Hold on. Let's see if this works. All right. I'm on now. I switched the Wi-Fi. Can you hear me?
Yeah, dude. I think we're rocking and rolling. I think it was your Wi-Fi.
Wow.
Yeah, man. Here I am thinking it's me. I know mine's not the best, but
What was that garbage Wi-Fi I was on? I'm on the 5G now. I don't even know what I was on before.
yeah.
I'm
Well,
home. It's like not all right.
congrats, dude. Congrats. You're done. Time to start working in a couple months, right?
Thanks, man. Yeah. Mid-August I start working. But yeah, big.
You got 2
beginnings.
months off right now.
Yeah. Pretty excited. I mean,
you're
I'm
gonna
looking
go on a
forward to
little
work.
vacation for a bit, and then and then what?
Yeah, we're working on that marketing. I mean, we have been for like 9 months now, as you know, and I appreciate your help with that. That's a big project right now. But yeah, we're going to go to London. We're going to go to Ireland a little bit, and then a family trip in beginning of August down to Costa Rica, a little fishing with the fam. Some stuff to do. It's good. Have you ever? When was the last time you traveled? Where'd you go?
Where did I go? I went to North Carolina back in April, visit my sister.
I remember that.
It was
Yeah.
after weekend. It was a good time.
When was the last time you went out of the country?
God, Mexico, probably. It was in Mexico. It was in 2020, I want to say.
5 years ago. Wait, that's a
like
long
1
time,
month
man.
before COVID.
Oh, you just made it.
But dude, I swear to God, so I went with my buddy and one of our friends. We got sick, and willing to bet we probably had COVID before COVID hit.
Did you got like
Yeah.
respiratory sick? You got bad like that, or was it?
Dude, actually, now that I think about it, I don't know. I don't think so.
Was
I
it?
lost my voice. It was like laryngitis related type of stuff. I was pretty sick for like 1 day, but ended up losing my voice. Both my friends, they lost their voice. So that's not really COVID symptoms. But yeah, man, it's been a long time. I did a lot of travel in the US kind of during COVID time, shortly afterwards, and then really just kind of buckled down. You got to practice and focusing on trying to get that up and going. And you don't really have as much time to kind of take these extended trips like on the other side of the country. And
Yeah.
and you kind of have to pick and choose like what trips are important, and it kind of was more so like family related stuff until you kind of get to that point that you want to be.
Right. Any travel plans with the girlfriend or Nothing at all.
Not anytime soon, man. Just really trying to kind of buckle down rest of this summer, grind away, have a couple goals I want to hit, a couple milestones, things like that.
Let's hear it.
And then probably towards the end of the year, beginning of next year, kind of start picking things up again. Because I mean, I'll be honest, like the sale of the practice and dip in income from that, because you're not doing as much dentistry and you're having this transition, trying to ramp back up and then trying to build the business. Like you kind of have to be a little bit more logistical. And I'm not one of those people who wants to like dip into savings or crypto to like go travel. Like I'd much rather, I don't have a problem taking that and using that stuff if like the money's flowing in. And now it's kind of starting to flow back in to levels that it was and even more so. But at that point, it's not time to celebrate. You know, like it's time to double down, triple down, get a couple months under you of really achieving those goals and then hit the ground running. You know,
Tell me about the sale of the practice. I didn't know that this was a full sale going on.
yeah, it was a PDS office, right? So back in October, basically sold it back to PDS. So that was it.
That was in October. Okay, because we've talked many times since then. I think we've even had a couple episodes since then. So you sold, that was starting back in October or it ended back in October?
Ended. So beginning of, wait, was it September? I don't know, September, October, around that time. But the last like, yeah, it was October, November, December. I was at the office I'm at now. So like basically you go into an office, you're not really seeing that many patients. You're trying to ramp up and build your schedule. So you have a dip in income. And then as you're transitioning out, you also have a dip in income as well. So, I mean, it is what it is, you know, and you kind of just got to buckle down on whatever it is that you're believing in that you could do, which for me was marketing. So here we are today.
And you're killing it. What's been your favorite part about the marketing so far? And do you think that could, well, let's start with this. Do you think that could potentially replace or at least pick up to same as income as dentistry? Or could it potentially replace at some point? Is that where that's where you're looking to go? Or
I've had a couple months because right now it's like it's up and down because it is still so fresh and so new that like down months, how can I put it? I've had a couple months where I make more money than I do in dentistry. And that's only been just less than a handful of times. And that's awesome. That's really cool. It shows that like we're growing and we're doing the things that we want to do, but it is still so fresh that like a month that I don't have that, it's significantly less. And it's just because you're in the early stages of growing a business. And you know how people say businesses, they have ups and downs and you're making 10 grand or 20 grand one month. The next month might be 10 grand, you know, and from 20 to 10 is a big dip, you know, but if you're making 30 grand and you dip to 10 grand or 15, the dip is a little bit more manageable at that point because you're still making a decent amount of money, right? And it's just kind of getting in that phase and having it be consistent where I never want to replace it. I want to do 2 to 3 days of dentistry at most, or I don't know,
both.
Pack in a full 2 weeks of dentistry and take a vacation for the rest of the 2 weeks. But even on a vacation, I mean, I'm kind of like you in the sense of, okay, cool. My vacation is not going to include any hands-on dentistry, but I'm going to be doing everything else. And I'll tell my girlfriend, hey, look, I'm waking up at 6 in the morning and I'm going to cram in as many things as I possibly can from 6 to 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock before you wake up. And then we can do vacation thing. But like I'm not going to try to, but I may have to take a call or something like that one day out of 4 or something like that.
Right. Done the exact same way. Yeah. And
because how else are you going to pay for the trip? You know, like
exactly
in dentistry, we make money working unless you have a bunch of associates working for you. But at the same time, like to truly build something passive, it's not really passive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got to be able to take a call if things are burning to the ground or if a client reaches out or something like that. So it is what it is.
Yeah, that's how it goes. The exact same way through residency. I mean, I have an hour or two of work to do before I go into the hospital, into the dental school, into wherever I was going in that day. And then when you get out, you're back to it. And, you know, and that's for someone listening to this episode, I would say that you don't have to do that. If you're a go-getter and you want more, if you think you're an entrepreneur.
Selfie time. Didn't mean to cut you off, but.
No, it's all good. You know, if you're striving for more, you need to put in the work. You got to go to work, and that's your 9 to 5 in residency. It might be 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. But if you want to do other things, and that's another thing, like you can be an entrepreneur. You got to learn how to market. No one's really these days, at least the people that I know in dentistry, no one's getting, $1 million loan to buy another dental practice so that they could start out after residency. I don't know about it. So if you don't have finances like that, you got to learn the trade of dentistry and you got to learn the marketing. And that's it. And
Yeah.
then the next thing after that is management, because management of people, managing how to work with your colleagues, how to manage your staff, how to build rapport with the
Yeah.
team, how to gain a network or referral basis if you're an oral surgeon or an endodontist and you get referrals. I think management would be the fourth pillar that I've just started to, in the last couple of weeks, started to recognize that as one. But hey, trade and then either finances or marketing. If you could do all three and you're an expert, you're a master at all three, you're going to crush it. But most people don't have money like that. So that's why I recommend use your phone. You could go on vacation and do work then,
Yeah.
right? If you go on vacation,
Yeah.
you can't do any dentistry there. Maybe you could do a DTX file, plan it all on X implants, but that's
Very few people are doing that, right? I think the ones that have it very easy are those clear aligner docs that are working out of Costa Rica. And they're legitimate dentists that like an orthodontist from like the United States, but all they're doing is just approving treatment plans of a GP in Massachusetts or something like that. And I envy them, right? Like two of the GPs at the office I'm working at, they're trying to get onboarded with Spark, right? And they're on this like teleconference video call with this lady. She's an orthodontist out of Costa Rica. I don't care to do it, but I'm listening to the call. And afterwards, I'm like, dude, this lady is balling. She never comes to the United States. She's making easily 400 grand a year living in Costa Rica just as a consultant.
which is like 10 million
Spark
over
Clear.
there. Yeah. Yeah.
It's great, right? But like that's very hard to do in dentistry. I feel like outside of the ortho space, you can't really do that with clinical dentistry.
It's a really good point. Yeah, where else would we see that? I guess dental labs, because the veneers, if you get really good at those, you can kind of multiply and grow exponentially if you do that. But other than that, you can't do that unless you're an implant company. But that's not.
That's not clinical.
It's not. Yeah, that's apples to oranges. Huh.
Yeah.
What are you trying to do?
What am I trying to do? Man,
Yeah.
I'm trying to just grow this marketing company, crypto stuff, finance stuff, really just kind of buckle down and just continue to do dentistry and continue to grow in dentistry. I feel like I kind of had a renewed passion in continuing education since the beginning of this year. I feel like I kind of really, like I was doing it, going through the motions I don't know, I do it because you had to, but I think I really kind of had like a renewed love for it. And, I kind of think about it like, did I kind of have this renewed love for dentistry as well? Because I don't feel like I need to grind as hard to make the money from production and quote unquote over treatment plan or walk this line of like, I really got to hit this number for production because of like marketing and other sources of income like that. So it kind of reignited like this interest in dentistry in a way that I haven't had since I kind of like first started and then first started working with my practice. And then I feel like the burnout is kind of gone right now because I'm not living and dying by the production I need to produce.
Yeah, aiming for a number. Did you ever feel like legitimate, you think, in hindsight, legitimate burnout? And when was that?
Right before I made the decision to sell.
Wow. So about a year ago, when did you start? When was that decision made?
I was thinking about it for, gosh, man, some time, maybe about a year and a half into the practice, I started to kind of think about that. Like I'll make a decision at year 2, kind of see where I'm at, but I'm leaning towards, I don't know how much of it was because I was part of a DSO and I had a lot less control than I would have liked to. I mean, don't get me wrong, they do a lot of things great, but at the same time, there were a lot of things that I knew that I did better, primarily marketing.
Yeah.
And that was very frustrating for me was, dude, like I will listen and I will push whatever it is you want me to push. Let me have more control over marketing. And I swear to God, like this is going to be a home run. And it never really played out like that. And I think there's a growing frustration of we are a team together at this office. We support you, right? But we only support you as long as you listen to everything that we tell you to do. Right. And then we'll go to bat and do everything for you.
Yeah.
So I think when that was becoming obvious, that's when burnout really was starting to settle in. And then you kind of start to think about like, okay, like I was prior to the practice, like I wasn't in a serious relationship, just messing around, fooling around, not really thinking of what comes next type of thing, right?
Right.
And then you get into something serious, right? And then you start to plan and look forward to your future, right? What does that entail? Raising a family, supporting a spouse, that's a lot more expensive than being a single dude. Like you can honestly be a dentist that's single, making $120 to $150,000 a year,
Mm.
and you'll be okay, right? Like
Right.
it's not like how it was 15 years ago, but you're not going to be struggling that much, right? But now you tack on a family and you're only making 200 grand or 250 grand, dude, that's kind of tough because like you and your significant other can probably like live off of that. But then you start thinking about, okay, all the schools are just shitty as fuck. We saw all the BS going on. So it's like, okay, well, how is this going to play out, right? Homeschool. So your wife is going to be at home probably, or you guys alternate, whatever the hell it is you guys decide to do. So that or private school. And both those routes, one is an opportunity cost and the other is a flat out expense on top of everything else you have to pay. And then I'm like talking to my sister, who she has a daughter, my niece, she's a little over 2 years old. And I kind of start to look at that and I'm like, damn, like a family is growing before my very eyes. And it's cool. And it makes you want that. And then you talk to them about expenses. They're like, yeah, like we're working, but we have a nanny. And so you start thinking about all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
And what you're thinking about is, how do I plan for the future? What is the best route, right? And are you truly in control of your business if you're with a DSO? The answer is no, it's not.
That's the truth. So people need to hear that.
And
No matter how far and how much you grew within that company, the DSO, the organization, would you ever have full autonomy? Do you think, Pat?
absolutely not. Like, and I don't think you should. I don't think you should. Like, you should. The DSO should not give you full autonomy because they have figured out what works. Why break something that is working for them? You know,
Right.
and I can't blame them for that. I think it's a genius model. It works. It makes money. It treats patients. Like we can go back and forth and gripe about like what's good, what's not good. But at the end of the day, like when you're a big conglomerate like that, you don't have to give ownership stake to the extent of a new up and coming DSO that is maybe 8 or 10 offices deep,
Yeah.
right? And they're trying to build. They're they're going to give you a lot of autonomy, and as one of the quote unquote founding doctors,
Mm.
uh, you'll be in a great position, you know. But Doctor 20 is going to be doing really amazing. Doctor Owner 20, but Owner 200 is going to be very different than Owner 20.
No,
You
yeah,
know,
everything's worse.
yeah. So.
But in your marketing company that you're building and growing and doing very well at and helping a lot of other docs, you have full autonomy of that or can have full autonomy of its potential too, always, right?
What do you mean by that?
I mean, you have full autonomy of that. I mean, I'm
Oh
trying to
yeah, sorry.
flower it up a little bit, which isn't working, but essentially you have full autonomy of that when you're under the conglomerate or even if you're working with partners, you don't have 100% autonomy. You might have 99, but it's like you want to be, you have partners for a reason, right? You want to be a partnership and to run it by your colleagues. So even that is
Yeah,
not 100%, but yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. I mean, I have a 50-50 split with my business partner, but like at the end of the day, he's putting in sweat equity just like I am.
Yeah.
And I would much rather split with him or any other partner as opposed to like, because we're co-managers at the end of the day. Like this is our company and nobody can tell us otherwise unless, I don't know, something crazy were to happen. But like, we don't have to answer to anybody saying, we don't like what you're doing. We just have to listen to the market,
Right.
what
Yeah.
the market wants, what the customer wants, what the client wants in that regard. And it's fun. It's different. It's unique. And you're constantly learning, man. Like
And when you go
there's
on that
always something new.
vacation, you're going to be able to bring it with you on the road and do a little work over there. And then you don't have to miss out on a
Exactly.
vacation and you don't have to miss out on work. I really think that you're really getting into the territory. That's the territory I'm trying to go. That's why we talk about this stuff all the time, whether it be one way or another. But marketing, I think, really is the key. And that's a good way to branch out. It's a really good way, testament to your work. It's a really good way to differentiate yourself from the other dentists in the area too. right?
It is, yeah. I mean, it's that whole thing of Wi-Fi money. Like I heard about that, man, maybe 2021, like when I first got on Twitter. And you know Bowtied Gator, right?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
He's do you know that Bowtied community on
I don't know it well enough, but I have seen a little bit
yeah,
here and
he's
there.
his name's like Bowtie Gator or whatever, and it's like he's probably the biggest, most successful person out of that. But it started off this guy called Bowtie Bull or something, right? Who is like this big like stock trading type of guy, finance
Mm.
guru, and his whole thing was Wi-Fi money, like making money away from having to physically go in to do something, right? Where you can do what we want to do, right?
Yep.
And man, Gator Dennis, that dude took it, ran with it. He's got Knobs toothpaste. The dude is absolutely killing it. Love to see that, but and it's great to see he's the most successful out of that entire community as a dentist, right? And I'm not going to lie, I feel like the dental community and respect for dentistry on the X Twitter side of things, he's probably the biggest driver.
You think so? What makes
Yeah.
him the biggest? I mean, he's got a lot of. That's a patent,
His
right? That
his following, his no BS type of attitude, but
Mm.
also proven success. And then his scientific approach to everything that he talks about. It's very, he knows what he's talking about, and he does like his research, and he'll break down the biochemistry behind why something is happening. Right, whether it's like dentistry or not, like he gives you a good medical breakdown of things, and I think
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah.
people in the community, just like online, appreciate that because we've been lied to 2020, 2021. I think there was a lot of need for somebody in healthcare to kind of step up. And he's not the only one, but he's one of them
Yeah.
that did that.
You know, speaking of two topics really quick. Speaking of being lied to, did you see that FBI thing that came out last week?
Which one?
The one about the 2020 election?
No, I didn't. What was it?
Kash Patel,
That it was stolen or something?
what you've been saying all along. I mean, so I didn't see Kash Patel directly come out and say it, but there were a lot of posts. I saw at least 3 posts talking about how it
Yeah.
came out that the 2020 election, that they have reports and stuff. I didn't look into it enough. I wanted to see if you knew any more on that.
No, I've been pretty busy this past week, if I'm going to be completely honest. So
Sure,
I didn't
yeah,
really see much of. Yeah,
it's all
man,
good.
it's been a busy week, but I didn't really see much of anything. Really, kind of the only news that I saw was if it was Iran Israel type of related stuff
Yeah,
because that's everywhere. But I didn't really have much time to kind of scroll or do anything like that other than just work related stuff. It was one of those weeks.
yeah,
So I missed
yeah.
a lot of things, but there's always some bombshell report that most of us already knew
I
about.
want to see if it's like been like proven because I haven't seen it on the news at all. I don't know if that's because they're hiding it, but I want to know if it's real or not because I saw 3 posts on it. I'm like, Pat's been talking about this since the beginning time. But anyway, tell me about, well, actually, I want to know what was so busy with work. But before we get there, speaking of both Ty Dennis and bringing it down to a scientific perspective, what are your thoughts on? I see you're talking about that the toothpaste that's wholly hydroxyapatite, right? What are your thoughts on
Nanohydroxyapatite,
fluoride,
yeah.
hydroxyapatite, either or both, fluoride in the water?
Sorry,
What are
what
your
was that?
what was that?
What was the question? Sorry, kind of broke up.
Yeah, just hydroxyapatite, fluoride, either or, both, fluoride in the water. What are your thoughts on just this conglomerate of topics in one?
Dude, I transitioned a lot. Like obviously in dental school, you're drinking the Kool-Aid. This is like the fluoride. Let me shower in it and like inject it in my veins. Like it's the greatest thing ever. And I believe why it came about was because they had good intentions, right? And there was a need for it. And I think it did a lot. I think it was very beneficial, right? But as we progress and we start to learn more and more about things, we start to understand, okay, well, here's some of the drawbacks of it. Like when it's in the water supply, this is how it affects literally every single system in the body, right? And then you have kind of this trade-off of like, okay, well, it's in toothpaste, like just gotta brush your teeth. Like, and by all means, like
And don't swallow it. Yeah.
yeah, the toxicity of it in toothpaste versus water, night and day difference. Like, I don't believe anything should be in water other than nothing, basically. Like, very few minerals, if that, and
Right.
definitely not fluoride. And it's not just because it's fluoride and there's this whole debate. It's just water should not have really anything in it.
There are all those studies that
And
came out that showed the lower IQ rates, especially in those areas around where they fluoride in the water. Yeah, I mean the studies are out. Studies show it. I agree.
yeah,
It shouldn't be in the water. And you could brush your teeth with fluoride toothpaste, just don't swallow it. And sure, then they could say the guy Dr. Bobby Johnson, he's an oral surgeon in Seattle. He created toothpaste, hydroxyapatite, the little tablets that you chew, and it's the perfect amount. He was saying, you still, even if you spit it all out, you still swallow somewhere in between like 3 to 5% minimum of toothpaste. That's a lot better than drinking water all day with fluoride in it. And then
oh yeah.
the other counter argument is like, well, now all these people in the United States are going to have poor teeth. Dentists are going to have a job, but like all these people are going to get cavities. Well, like they should brush their teeth. I don't know.
You see, here's the thing too, is like I've
Is that bad to
seen
say?
so many patients and say that again.
Is that bad to say? Like they need to brush their teeth. I mean, this is what we've been telling them the whole time. You got to brush your
I
teeth.
think they absolutely need to, I don't think to,
You can't harm a
I
whole
think,
population by putting fluoride in the water when everyone could just be brushing their teeth. But yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut.
that's a band-aid on the problem. Putting it in water or like really, it's such a band-aid because the big issue is one, you're not practicing proper oral hygiene. Two, it's diet. At the end of the day, like if you literally just completely change your diet and you no longer brush your teeth and you had quote unquote what a lot of people would consider like the perfect diet, and that's debatable across the board because everybody's got their own opinion. But foods that you and I know, I'm going to say probably more so animal products, meats, things like that. But like, if you did not brush your teeth anymore, your rates of cavities would still go down
With a
just
better
because
diet,
of
yeah.
diet. Yeah.
Speaking of
And
your shirt,
exactly. There we go.
eggs, bacon. What's the bottom one? I can't see it.
Pancakes and orange juice and toast.
Pancakes might be my
Yeah.
favorite on there, but yeah, okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, and then I started to kind of transition a little bit more of, okay, well, I've been hearing about nanohydroxyapatite for the longest time, and I'm kind of skeptical about it, but I've already ended that whole thing of fluoride in water, understood. Like, okay, let's look at the other side of things. And then you start to dig into the research and you're like, okay, this stuff really, really works. And I don't know. At the end of the day, it's not toxic like fluoride. It works just as good at preventing cavities. And at that point, I'm kind of like, well, I'm sold on it. So why would you be using fluoride in your toothpaste if you have something that exists that's less toxic and it works just as good? I think we've gotten to that point. In the past, like that wasn't the case. In the past, there wasn't as much like fanfare around it and not as many people know
Yeah,
about it.
yeah.
But now it's like the data is out there, it's thrown in your face, and it's
It's
like
been
you
out for a
kind of have
while.
to, yeah,
Yeah.
because what's going to be the case 30 years from now, 40 years from now? What are we going to realize is like the truth of that moment in time? And are you still going to be like, no, forget that. I'm going to do how we were doing things in 2025, but it's year 2050. No, you're not. So it's like the amalgam composite thing, right? So
That's right. That's a great point. That someone was saying that in some of these other countries, they're no longer using fluoride either. They're using hydroxyapatite in the toothpaste. So why aren't we upgrading? There's got to be something political behind it. There's got to be something with these companies. They must be making so much off of toothpaste. They're like, I don't want to change this. This is going to make my toothpaste so much more expensive.
yeah, I think it's that. I think the waste product of fluoride, that's a big industry. I think Canada's
Mm.
lobbying very hard because I think we get most of the fluoride to go into water. I think it comes from Canada. It's like a fertilizer
Ah,
waste product or something like that. So there's just like big industry and like certain businesses would collapse if they were not able to sell their waste product to put into
yeah,
whatever it is that we want to put it into. So
yeah, that's a good point.
but I mean, the data's there. It's great. It works. I love it. I recommend it to my patients, and I think it's part of the future of dentistry.
I agree. I agree. I think looking into both hydroxyapatite and beta hydroxyapatite, especially, but also fluoride. I think diving into both, not either or, but both further, I think is going to give us some greater answers. What's your day looking
Yeah.
like right now? You said you had a really tough week, really busy week. What's your day to day? Because you're getting up at like 5 a.m. I see the post on the story.
Yeah.
I'm watching all
It
your
really
stories.
depends
Yeah.
on the day. Today was, I don't know, man. Today was an interesting day. It's like I was up early, went to the gym, did all the things I need to do, took a couple hours, and then it's just like I had a call at noon, and from 10 to noon, I had nothing. From after that call all the way pretty much until now, had nothing, right? And
Huh.
it's like, I don't know, it just happens sometimes, and you're kind of like lost, like,
Yeah.
what do I do with the entire day?
Oh, come on. But you've been busy. You had plenty of stuff to do today, no?
Yeah, but it's like I knocked out all the stuff like from 6 o'clock to 10, and there's only so much you can do. And it's like a lot of these ads coming in or people showing interest or having conversations in like DMs and things like that with dentists or other people who want to sell whatever and need marketing. That kind of tends to happen at the end of the day when they're not working,
Yeah.
and it's like they're 9 to 5 or 4, and you kind of have to wait like to have a conversation or somebody show interest, and you see
Mm.
like a peak in ads or peak in interest in the ads you're running from 4 o'clock because it's 7 o'clock on the East Coast all the way kind of until like 9 o'clock. So from 4 to 9 on the West Coast is kind of when you realize that. And then you can pretty much have like consistent conversations where you're getting stuff done.
Yeah.
Right. So it's
Yeah.
like, it's interesting, there's only so much you can really work on during the day. There just is.
Yeah.
But I don't know. This past week was a interesting week, just busy, random days, spurts of busyness, like in the morning or middle of the day or the afternoon. And it's just takes time, phone calls, things like that you had to do.
In the office or out of the office? Or how many days a week are you working on? What days are you? So you're
A
not
bit
in
of
like
both. Yeah. So I work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So
4 days. Okay, got it.
yeah, but like, I don't know, this past week, like, not too busy at work, right? So didn't go in on Tuesday. Friday went in, but then like the day fell apart. So it's like, well, why am I going to be there? So you
Yeah.
have this like travel time that you got to factor in. And it's like, I don't know, just interesting. So I kind of had like a 4-day weekend, more or less, like just working on things. And yeah, my dad came into town
Oh, nice.
yesterday. So that was nice. It's just random little things where it takes up time, but you don't have enough time to do other things, if that kind of makes sense.
It does. Yeah.
Yeah, you got
Yeah.
like a 30-minute break or an hour and a half break at most. So it's like, cool, I can cook, I can eat, or I can go to the gym, but it's like, how it is. So, how are your days looking now, man?
My
You're
days have
living a
been.
dream.
Yeah. 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 I mean, I'm not complaining at all. The move in or moving out's fine. And then usually moving in is like you usually move in from, into an empty space. But
Mhm.
I grossly underestimated because I'm back home now in my childhood house in Smithtown. And my
Yeah,
dad's
I like this backdrop a lot more. It's just, I don't know, looks sick.
the bricks. You like that?
Yeah, like I think if you put like a shelf or something like that and you have some tooth related thing in the background, like maybe one or two shelves, like I'm looking like on your right side behind, like a little bit higher than your eye. Yeah.
I was
And
thinking of putting a
then
plant.
on
Oh, I got to get some plants going. I'm a
yeah,
big plant. I
something
got to
like
get
that.
a. I actually did
And then
put.
on the
Yeah.
left side, I think like a little bit lower than your eyes on yeah, like right there. I think like two shelves, couple plants, a tooth related thing. You're
Big
rocking and
giant
rolling, man.
rooster. Big giant rooster right over here. Big giant cock.
Something like that, man.
And then a plant.
Or
I
have
don't know.
like a
Shit.
or hang like a such a random portrait in the back of like some historical
Adriana Lima.
figure. Dude, that would be awesome. I'm pretty certain that was most everyone's first crush. She was definitely mine. Like she was my favorite Victoria's Secret model. Let's be real.
Still is. You kidding me? There's no better than her.
Yeah, I
Oh, but
don't
I
know any
gotta.
of them now. So like
Yeah.
it's still like when I think of Victoria's Secret models, I think of her, Giselle, and
Yeah.
Alessandra Ambrosio.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's
Yeah.
about it. I don't even remember what Alessandra Ambrosio looks like, but yeah, the other two. Yeah.
Yeah,
Little
that was
Adriana
kind of our
Lima.
day of growing up.
Actually, it's funny. I think it was first or second year of dental school. I got this giant. It was like 5 feet by 4 feet poster of Adriana Lima for like ended up going in the bathroom on the wall, which is just like the most I don't know, I thought that was hilarious. But in black and white, it was I don't know. But get that and throw that back there. No, but no, I don't know, just moving in. And thank you. Yeah, it's this is like the wood fired stove behind me right here. This is the house I grew up
Yeah.
in. So my dad lives here. The plan is to move in here. Elise will move in. My dad will find he's looking for a condo. When he moves out, she'll move in, and then I start working in August. But it's a
She's moving in pretty soon then.
it might be a few months. It'll probably be a few months because my dad's got to move out and everything, and then she'll move in. But yeah, it's plenty. It's just like it's not a full house, but all my stuff is here. So I underestimated
Yeah.
how much it would be to move into a full like a. I don't have room for anything, so it's like shifting everything
Yeah.
around, throwing things out. It's taken like 3 days to do my bedroom alone, but I don't know. All right, everything will all be done. But otherwise, 2 days in the office, Monday, Tuesday for some software training. They're converting from OMS Vision to DSN. Are you familiar with DSN? I mean, I don't really want to talk about. I don't know. It's like
I
the
think that's OS software.
yeah, whatever it
Like
is.
all the specialties, they have their own software. It's
It's just weird.
it's
It's like
crazy.
why?
Yeah. I don't know. I guess there's a market for it, and to invest money into building something for endodontists, why do that if you're doing other stuff, and
Yeah,
vice versa for OS or something like that. It's
gotta
yeah.
find that Wi-Fi money somehow.
Yeah, dude, for real.
Get the
So
dough.
2 days in the office, like I imagine it's not gonna take that long to learn the software.
It was 8 a.m.
So then
today
what
until
comes?
about 2:30. So tomorrow, hopefully 8 a.m. to 2:30. But like I got up at 5:30 this morning. I do 10-minute ab workout every day. I think I'm gonna start like recording those and then trying to mix the track to go over. I don't know. I want to do fun stuff around the things I like. Then I mean,
Yeah, dude, it's just these runs. That's all you're posting, man, in terms of fitness. We need a little bit of something else, dude.
oh, every other day when it is weights time, I do other stuff, but I don't know. Like, what do you do
I
to
think the
post?
algorithm for me is just built where the only exercise stuff I see is that you ran around all of New York. Yeah. Seriously, I see it on Twitter. I see it on on Instagram. That's
Oh,
about it.
you're seeing it on all the apps.
Oh, dude, yeah. Like
That's really
I
funny.
swear to God, like every 2, 3 days, I'll see something on Twitter that you ran like a couple miles.
Yeah, that's what I do. I'll be doing it. What's
Yeah.
tomorrow? Tuesday. I'll be doing it again tomorrow night. That's really funny.
Did you play sports growing up?
Yeah, yeah. I played I played a lot of soccer, baseball, lacrosse, and then just basketball, high school, college. But
Oh, well, shit, dude. You played a lot of running sports. I played basketball, and when I
yeah,
was done
yeah,
with
yeah.
that, I was like, I'm gonna try to just minimize the amount of running I do in my life
Why?
after I'm done with basketball. Dude,
You
I
don't have to run?
hated running. I hated it,
Wow.
and I don't know. I got like I guess shin splints at one point,
Hmm.
where something like that was coming about, like kind of towards the end of my career, and I don't know. It was kind of painful, and I knew it was from running, and so back in undergrad, there was a good like year and a half, 2 year period where I played a lot of pickup basketball, and I started to get that again.
Hmm.
And I was like, dude, I am done. Like, I don't need to run. Why do this? Like, in a basketball court is like softer than cement or something like that. And yeah, there's no reason to.
So it's funny because you got me onto liver and all these really good, nutritious, real food, and I feel like there's workouts, there's weights and weightlifting, but I feel like if you want the best bang for your buck, how to burn the most calories in the least amount of time,
It's sex.
it's going
It's
at
sex, and then it's running.
yeah,
So
running's up there.
yeah, so
But
I'll
good
choose the
touche, good
first
point.
one. Yeah, I'll choose the first one. Anything but running, dude. Like, but I don't know, man. There was a time when I was a little bit fatter, and before I made the whole like diet switch, I was like, I was kind of considering. Then I was like, no, let's switch the diet. Let's see what happens with that. Focus on abs and all of that, and we'll
You
go from there
almost
and see
ran.
what comes about. Yeah, so
That
almost,
well,
but I did it. Like, let's be real. And I think now that that stage is past in my life, like I've had back injuries and stuff,
uh,
and I think it's just ankle injuries. I don't think it's worth it. I have a torn ligament in my ankle from my last year in dental school,
what are you
just
doing with your
having too much
ankles?
fun. What?
What are you doing with your ankles in dental school?
Man, so I sprained my ankle really badly in undergrad playing pickup basketball, right? I was done for a couple years. I started playing rec league in dental school. And my last year, I got injured like I think my third year, but then my fourth year, it was a tailgate for the Lions opener. And let's just say we had a little bit too much fun. We got there early, tossing the football around. Man, we were probably 3, 4 hours before the game started. I went up to go catch to catch the football, just landed, heard this crack, got up, and I was like, guys, I'm going home. Like, this is it. I was limping. It was so hard to call an Uber because like we're in downtown Detroit, everybody's coming in for the game. So it took me like 45 minutes to get home
You
from
didn't
my
go to the
place.
game.
I
You
was
just
10
left.
minutes. There was no way. Like I was done.
Could you walk?
I knew well, no, I waited 45 minutes. I couldn't walk. Like
Oh
I was limping.
man,
Like my ankle like swelled up and
did you ever
it was pretty
look?
bad.
Like, what happens? You get an
I didn't go to school for
X-ray?
the next week, and my school was like giving me crap. They're like, "What's going on?" Luckily, my
I'm
best
sure.
friend is a podiatrist. He had just graduated,
Sweet,
right?
sweet.
Yeah, and so he gave me this excuse, basically as a legal podiatrist, as a doctor of podiatry, and my school had to honor that. She's like, "How the fuck did you get this?" But like, okay, whatever. Like, he's legit. They like looked up his license and everything, made sure that like this guy wasn't a fraud, and I was like, "You can call him right now if you want." And because they did not believe I was trying to pull some BS like that, and it worked. So
Did he ever get an X-ray for you? Like, do you ever figure out exactly what the issue was?
yeah, it was. So this was when does football season start? I don't know, October or something like that. No, like September or something. I don't know.
August,
But
September,
when I ended
something.
up
Yeah.
going, yeah, I healed up. I was able to walk a little bit better, like a week, 2 weeks later. When I went back for Christmas break, did an MRI with him and everything, and he's like, "Yeah, you got a torn ligament." And that's it. He's like, I don't see the reason for you to ever have surgery because you're not an athlete. So you're obviously not going to do surgery right now in your last year of dental school and you got to finish requirements. So if you want to do it, you got to do it right when you're done so you can heal up as quickly as you can. But like, what's the point if you're not an athlete? Like you've been fine for the past couple months. And the only issue I have is I can't make cuts, right? So like jab steps, playing basketball like that, it's done. Tennis, that's not a thing.
Pickleball?
And that's not at all. Like I never played one game of that for that reason alone. I was like,
Yeah,
I'm
that'll
sorry,
make it
man. I
worse.
know what happened to my body. Like I'm not risking it. Sorry.
It's not worth it. Yeah, and especially what
So,
we do day to day is physical anyway. Until you can break out and go solely remote with marketing, yeah, it's we need our bodies, and you might not be using your ankle to work in people's mouths, but you're walking on it all day to and from, handling emergencies. Yeah, it's not ideal. It's going to affect your performance.
well, think about this too. You're hitting the rheostat nonstop,
Yeah, and
right?
that too.
And that honestly, when I first got injured in those first couple months after the injury, I was really sore and I would have to switch to use my left foot as opposed
Oh.
to my right. Yeah. And I got over that. I did a lot of like strengthening exercises, kind of a lot of like just stabilization on kind of like a ball that's cut in half.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
those
I
kind
know
of
what you're talking
balls that
about.
you
Yeah,
just a lot of that. And I would go to the gym, do whatever exercise I need to do, but I would stand with my right foot on that for 5 minutes,
yeah,
like every single day
and it would help.
and just random things like that. And I mean, you're kind of wobbling, but that forces like your muscles around there to tighten up, and that was a benefit. So
Yeah, that's pretty good. Let's switch topics. Just one last one. Where do you see Apple going? Where do you think I forget what price I got in on that, but where do you? It's the 29th. I need to get in there, right? You said the 29th. I gotta. What day
is
is it?
when you got in.
No, you said the 29th. I need to take a video of the billboard that when's going up, right? 29th.
30th, I believe. I don't know. You got to
Yeah.
check the text. I'd have to recheck and see, make sure that that's still a go or whatever's going on with that. To be
It is still there.
honest, I think this is going to be a couple $100 million coin. It's a decentralized exchange, but they got a lot of very interesting things that are tied to it. A lot of other products that they have released, that they are going to release. And I don't know if you're familiar with like what a launch pad is, but it's basically what other projects that want to get started, they will use to start their project, right? Funds, marketing, things like that. And their launch pad, excuse me, is very unique in the sense of staking, right? You're
Hmm.
familiar with that. There's an incentive to hold PAP for these projects that are being launched, as opposed to other launchpad projects, right? Like something called Proof Platform. That company makes a lot of money off of the products and projects that launch, right? The holders that have a proof NFT gives them access to tokens and money essentially from these launchpad projects, right? But you don't need to hold the proof token. So proof is not really worth that much because all you need is that NFT. That
Hmm.
NFT is worth like $15,000 because you're getting so much residual income every single month off of that, right? And
Right.
that's where Papal is different. Is instead of the NFT, you will have to hold Papal to basically get the equivalent of what that project would give you with NFTs,
I
right? So
see.
there's an incentive to hold, and that's obviously going to drive the price up. And then at the same time, it offers a bunch of other products as well. And I think it's in a very unique position. It seems like they have a very good marketing team. I'm very impressed with what they're doing. And now it's just once it rolls out, can they maintain and continue to push and have it do what it needs to do. And I think it'll hit at least 100 million based off of the people I know that are involved in the marketing efforts that will come about behind it. But I think it's very likely if let's assume nothing spectacular happens with crypto. Like we don't get this altcoin season like we had a couple years ago. I think the coin will hit 100 million. If we get an alt season and Ethereum, which I believe we will, right? And Ethereum crosses 4,000 and it goes eventually to what we kind of expect it to, which is $7,000, $8,000, what I'm thinking, right? If it does that, dude, everything changes at that point. Papal, why it'll be worth upwards to 500 million, a billion, maybe even 2 billion, will have nothing to do with Papal itself, but the alt season and the heights of Ethereum, right? So
I see.
that's kind of what we're like. It could settle at 100 million and it could be 100 million. But if Ethereum breaks 5,000, 6,000, or 7,000, that 100 million will turn into 600 million, 800, a billion without them doing anything fundamentally different.
I follow. Yeah, yeah. Just because the
And
cap is larger. Rising tide
exactly, but
raises all ships.
every other project would be the exact same way as well. Right. So that's why like it was the stupid amounts of money that were being tossed around a couple years back when ETH was almost hitting 5,000. Dude, it didn't matter. You could invest in the shittiest project on the goddamn planet. Like
He was going up.
it would 2 or 3x like the worst project ever would. And if you got into a good one, 10x minimum.
10x, yeah. Yeah, or more. Or more. Some of them.
Minimum. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we could get there. I hope we get there. Gotta make up for
I
all
think we
those.
will. They're showing to be a little bit different than Vox, that's for sure. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Vox.
a lot different than Vox. So they launched off of Proof platform, actually,
Oh,
right?
all right.
Yeah, and there was a project that launched about a month and a half before them off a Proof platform. That was
Yeah.
called Privix. That just broke, I think, 12 or 13 million the other day. So that's great to see because that brings a lot of legitimacy to other projects on that launch from Proof, like Papal. And so, yeah, we're competing, but dude, if somebody from your school looks good, it's going to make a lot of other people look good. And that's kind of what, yeah. So,
Exciting things, man. Good stuff. Dude, thanks for coming
yeah,
on
man.
today.
Yeah, dude. It's always a good time.
So the chat, yeah, this was what like part. I'll have to take a look. This might have been 6, 7, 8. I don't even know what episode this is that we
Yeah,
got in
we've
now,
done a
but
lot.
and we'll keep it going. We'll keep it
Yeah,
going,
we'll
man.
keep
What's
doing it. We got
just
to do
before
it
you?
when you start working.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. That'll be the next one. 2, 3 months, probably September, and then decide I am going to study for the boards, but then that's going to take a significant hit to the time
Yeah,
that I have. Like I want to be a future partner, which means I got to bring stuff to the practice in addition to being a surgeon, which would be marketing. But if I'm studying for the
yeah,
boards, I can't market. So then you can see I'm like, but
yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, there's really like one chance of getting the boards in because I'm never going to be able to study like that again. So I don't know, man. That's
Yeah, get it over with, man. You're going to thank yourself
You think so?
once you're done. Yeah,
Yeah, probably just.
once it's done. Because, man, when you're working and you're busy worrying about the nuances of that, you don't want to be studying for
I mean, it's
something you
really
don't need to.
one try. I'm not going to try and do this thing again. I don't want to
Yeah,
work in the hospitals. I don't want to take call because they're not paying. They don't pay people to take call anymore. You're just doing free work for the hospitals. Some hospitals, in order to get rights there, you have to pay for an application every year. So
yeah,
you're literally losing money just to. Anyway, I'll save you the boring info, but I don't know. Yeah, I guess I'll do it, but then it's just going to take away time from everything else, and it is what it is.
it is what it
Anyway.
is, man. Anyways, dude, it's always good talking. I'll let you go and we'll talk some more soon. I know you're doing some cool things with marketing and we'll plan another time.
All right, brother. Yeah, and thanks for your help. Thanks for coming on today. And yeah, we'll chat soon. We'll chat soon.
For sure, dude. Take it easy.
All right, brother. Have a good night.
You too.